Hello and welcome back, everyone. Thank you for joining me today, and a special thank you to every single one of you who has become a subscriber on Substack, on Patreon, or who has otherwise supported my work. I appreciate every single one of you. America's national debt has reached a staggering $37 trillion as of mid-2025, and right now Donald Trump is floating one of the most radical fixes yet, backing the US dollar with cryptocurrency and gold. To some, it is a visionary move, a bold leap toward restoring trust in American money, but to others, it's reckless, nothing short of a dangerous gamble that could destabilize financial markets and worsen the very crisis that it aims to fix. Regardless of where you stand, one thing is very clear. Trump has forced a conversation that no one can ignore, not anymore. So why is this idea being considered now? It is now being considered because the current U.S. debt situation is no longer just a budget issue. It is a national vulnerability. Politicians feel the pressure, voters are getting anxious, and campaign slogans about fiscal responsibility, remember those? They're no longer just rhetoric, they're political lifelines. Foreign investors are losing more and more trust in Washington as they see national debt hit new record highs every single day. This has become a vicious cycle. It can no longer be ignored. And so in that environment, ideas that once seemed outlandish, like crypto and gold-backed currency, suddenly feel like they're worth exploring. Whether it is a sign of innovation or desperation, the fact is the Overton window has shifted, the fringe has moved to the center. So let's talk about the numbers. The US debt isn't just a big number, it is a complex structure that includes publicly held debt, intragovernmental holdings like the Social Security Trust Fund, and short-term instruments like treasury bills that constantly roll over. In one of my recent videos, as you may recall, I shared the details and we discussed how the national debt is structured in greater detail. You're welcome to browse through the available videos here on my channel. What really worries experts is the debt-to-GDP ratio. It is now higher than during most major historical crises. That ratio signals how sustainable the debt is relative to the size of the economy. And interest costs are now exploding past $1 trillion per year. The government spends more just to service existing debt, crowding out funding for everything else, for other programs. This creates urgency, and it makes unconventional ideas politically palatable, even if they're technically uncertain. So why crypto? Why gold? Well, because each carries symbolic and practical value. Crypto, of course, promises speed, programmability, and a modern image. Gold evokes stability, scarcity, and trust. Politicians love both, of course, because they look like strong solutions and they sound great in a 30-second ad spot. But as always, there is a difference between what sounds good and what actually works in a financial system that is built on layers of law, contracts, regulation, and institutional inertia, let's be honest. Here's what Trump is actually proposing, or at least trying to hint at. He's proposing tokenizing treasury debt using blockchain. He's proposing to issue a government-backed digital currency. He's proposing to rebuild US gold reserves, and possibly he's proposing to peg part of the dollar to gold or a hybrid crypto-gold standard. The stated goal is to lower borrowing costs, to restore confidence in the currency, and to reduce debt through credibility rather than austerity. It is a bold vision, but the devil is in the design, is in the details. Tokenizing treasuries may sound great to some policymakers, but it could actually improve, of course, market access, and it could improve settlement speed. So those are great things about crypto. But it also opens the door to new risks such as cyber attacks, smart contract errors, and regulatory chaos. And here you would ask, what about stablecoins or a US government digital currency? What about that? Well, if not done carefully, they could blur the line between monetary policy and fiscal policy, which would create the appearance or the reality of printing money to cover deficits. That is the kind of move that shakes investors' confidence, and of course, it wouldn't strengthen the US economy. The core challenge here is to design a system where crypto enhances transparency and efficiency without enabling monetary instability. Gold feels safe, but in reality, it is a double-edged sword. Pegging the dollar to gold limits monetary flexibility. If there is a recession or, let's say, a financial panic, the Federal Reserve can't just inject liquidity because it would be bound by the peg. In other words, it's just not going to happen. It is not practical in the current environment. Even partial backing with gold might constrain fiscal options and introduce volatility if gold prices swing. And practically, there's not enough gold in the world to back the modern financial system at current scale, not without massive economic disruption. So gold might boost symbolic credibility, but it could also raise the risk of deflation, slow growth, and harsher policy trade-offs during economic shocks. What happens when you combine crypto infrastructure with gold reserves? I think that is a very good question. This actually lies at the very core of Trump's initiative. You get a system that might promise fast digital settlement with hard asset credibility. But coordinating this would be a logistical nightmare, and I'm sure that Washington is fully aware of it. Many challenges would need to be addressed, such as who controls the gold, who mints the tokens, who guarantees convertibility, and the big one, what happens if people try to redeem en masse? What happens if there is a bank run, in other words? Trust depends on governance, on rules, on transparency. If any of that breaks down, the new system or the old system collapses. And fast. Trump's proposal is very disruptive, and knowing Trump, that may be the point. It is clear that he's tapped into real anxieties about debt, about inflation, and the future of the dollar. To his credit, it is time to have this conversation. Crypto and gold are not magic bullets. They're tools, they're instruments, and tools are only as good as the system that wields them. Either way, Trump's proposal has moved the debate, and it forced America to reconsider ideas that were once dismissed as fringe. Is Trump's gold and crypto plan genius, or is it pure madness? Let us know in the comments. I would love to hear your take on this. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me. Please show your support. It does mean a lot. Give this video a thumbs up, consider sharing it, and subscribe on YouTube. I would love to have you back for my next one. And if you enjoy reading and if you would like to see more content, find me on Substack and Patreon. I would love to see you there as well. Take care.